Hey everybody, today I want to try something a little bit different. I'm going to come to you live because I'm testing an idea where I can bring you some of the latest headlines that are happening in the world. Because usually I like to tell you different ways to get into countries, the COVID restrictions, things that are new, so that your travel, I can share what's most up to date for your travel needs. So when you're planning your vacations, you know what's happening in the world. But as you know, things are happening day by day. And so it's really hard to stay on top of it sharing a video, which then becomes irrelevant a week or two when they change everything. So I wanted to kind of experiment with going live where I can share the top highlights from this past week so that you can have a quick in the know type of a situation in case you are traveling this year. So leave a comment below if you like this type of format, if you want me to continue doing it, or if it sucks, let me know and I will stop doing it immediately. So today, most of the news stories are revolving around Europe and travel to Europe. So today I want to cover, if you are traveling to Europe in 2022, which I'm hoping to do, what you need to know with regard to COVID, with regard to the war, where do we stand, and is it safe for us to keep going? So on that note, let's go ahead and dive in with article number one. Now, this one is from CNN, and it's just talking specifically about the war and whether or not it's safe for us to go. So let me pull up my notes here so I can cover a bit about what they are saying. So the war, as you know, the minute it started to cause some more hesitation in people planning their travel. So whereas initially everybody's like, yay, Omicron behind, so let's plan travel. Now that need or that desire has throttled back a bit. People are still wanting to travel. It's just when it comes to Europe, they're not as ready to dive right in yet. And a lot of people are canceling their vacations. Now, travel and security experts, according to CNN, actually are saying that there's no need to cancel your vacations at this time, particularly if you are traveling to Western Europe. Now, obviously, going to the Ukraine or Russia is probably not the best idea. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not the best idea. So obviously, maybe don't go there. But if you're going to the Western European nations, they're saying, at least at the moment, it should still be safe to go. Now, if you get a little closer to Ukraine, Poland, and some of the other countries are a little closer, use some judgment and watch it more closely. So right now, Poland is considered a level 4 by the US government as far as visiting goes. They advise not to visit, but it's not for the war, it's because of COVID. So you just kind of need to keep an eye on it and use your best judgment to decide which one you want to do. Now, if you're going, like I said, Western Europe, there's no restrictions specifically related to the war. So at the moment, it should still be safe to go. Now, Europe in general is also open to business. They're anxious and willing to have more travelers come and visit. So they're welcoming you. So if you're willing to travel and you're comfortable doing so, then go. But with a caveat, make sure you're watching the news headlines because you never know when something might change. In the future, they might recommend that you cancel. But for right now, the experts are saying you should be okay to continue with your plans with everything in its current state. And I'm going to go ahead and link this article below so you can read it in more detail and then research further if you would like to know any specifics for the country that you're going to. All right. That is that article that I found that was pretty interesting. The next one I want to bring to you has to do with all of the fuel surcharges. So not only do we have the war and COVID that we have to worry about, but all of the really expensive fuel is also going to affect our travel this year as well. And I wanted to bring to you this USA Today article that talks about what might be happening with airline charges when it comes to the fuel surcharge. And recently this week, a lot of the airline executives from Delta, American, Southwest, JetBlue, and so forth had an interview had a conference with some investors where they indicated that yes, they would be increasing prices to compensate for the fuel surcharges. They estimated that it would be around $30 to $40 per person for a round trip flight that they would need to increase it in order to compensate for those fuel charges. That being said, if demand decreases, because right now demand is still strong enough that it can support them charging extra for their fees, their tickets. But if demand goes down because of the war or COVID or any other reason, they might not be able to support that price increase and they might have to bring their prices down. Whether that happens or not, we don't know yet. But if you have not made your flight arrangements this year yet, you might want to jump on it. At least it's recommended that you do before those new price increases kick in, so that hopefully you can get in before they add those fuel surcharges and be able to get a good rate on your flight. I have videos about how to save more money on flights, which whether there's a fuel surcharge or not, you should be able to use those tools to learn how to tweak things so that you can get the best rates. And that video I will link below for you as well, if you'd like to learn more about that. All right, moving on, we are going to talk about what is happening in America with regards. So as you know, with Omicron kind of fading away, even though there are some spikes in some places, but we won't be talking about that today. And a lot of countries are saying that they're dropping all of their restrictions. They're stopping needing pre-testing, quarantines, and things like that. They still have some rules around vaccination, if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, but that's beside the point. They're dropping a lot of the pre-testing and stuff and mask mandates and all of those things. Unfortunately, America is not one of them. If you are either coming to America or you're from here and you're going overseas, and then when you return home, you will be required to test. It's something that doesn't look like it's going to be going away anytime soon. But the good news is they do allow you to have at-home tests. The caveat there is they have to be a proctored test. Now, I've done one of these more recently on a cruise that I took this past year, and I used Binax Now, but there are others. There's one that is called, let me find the name of it. It is Illume, I believe it is. Yes, Illume and Cured, and I'll list those below so you can look at those as well. A lot of these are available over the counter. You can usually order them online. A lot of pharmacies now are offering them. But again, the key is they have to be proctored. So what you do is you bring the test with you. You can take it anytime, 24 hours a day, because they have a call center, I believe, that is open 24 hours a day. You log in, you need to have internet, you need to have a ability to have a camera because you have to be able to show them your box. They have to watch you opening your box. They have to watch you taking the test, and then you close it and you have to leave it where they can see. And then after, I think about 15 minutes, then they come back online and you show them the results. And then that's how they verify that it was you, that those were the results. And then they send you your confirmation. So the good news is you can simply buy those tests before you leave, and then bring them along with you on your vacation. So that way, when you're ready, whether it's a 24-hour window, 48-hour, however close to your departure you need to take it, you have it available and it's with you. You don't have to worry about finding a lab and getting appointments and things like that. So that's the good news. But if you are either coming to the US or leaving from and returning, keep in mind that you will have to test before you can re-enter or enter. Okay, moving on. The next one I want to talk to you about is from the Points Guy. Now, they have done, as of March 5th, 2022, an update of a country-by-country guide, not just Europe, but all of the world, of what their COVID restrictions are at the moment and kind of what plans are in the works. So as we've talked about before, there are new countries opening every day, including ones that haven't been open this entire COVID timeframe, like New Zealand and Australia. They're opening now, but everybody has their own rules. A lot of them, they want to see you be vaccinated. Some of them want you vaccinated and a booster shot. Some of them are fine if you're not vaccinated, but if so, then you need to take a test. But they have listed all of the countries and exactly what is required for each. So I'm going to link that below because it's far too many for me to cover in this video. So if you want to take a look at that, just remember this was as of March 5th. So as you know, every day things can change. So make sure if you are traveling this year, you monitor that situation all the way up and through your vacation. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about that is that as summer approaches, a lot of these rules may change. A lot of them might loosen up and get more open. So even though, say, for instance, right now, Italy is saying you need to do a passenger locator form and you need to have a vaccine and all of these things, by the time, say, June, July, August rolls around, that might lessen. It might not. You have to keep an eye on it. But just so you know, towards summer, they might open up even more because they want more tourists. So the point My point I'm trying to make is monitor their situation. But here's a few of the highlights from this article. And again, I'll link it below if you want to read about it. But for instance, the UK has scrapped all of their COVID restrictions, mask mandates, everything as of today, actually by 4 p.m. today in Greenwich Mean Time. So if you are traveling to the UK, all of that is gone. Then also Denmark is fully open, for instance, if you have a vaccine. If you are not vaccinated, you simply have to test, and there may be a quarantine. If you're going there, make sure to read about that. France is fully open if you have a vaccine and a booster. Greece is fully open with a vaccine, but if you are not vaccinated, they would require a test. So you simply say, either give them a vaccine, you give them a test, or you give them proof of recovery, and they'll accept it. Iceland's fully open, as Spain also is either you test or you provide your vaccine, one or the other. So those are just a smattering of what the openings are at the moment. And like I said, New Zealand is now open, Australia is now open. So if you are heading to their locations, make sure you check with their embassies and their state departments so that you know what restrictions are required for you to go there. Another great place to get the updated information is your airline. So for instance, if you're going to Australia and you're flying Qantas, chances are Qantas is going to have a detail of what it is that they're going to expect from you and what you're going to need in order to get into Australia. All right. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about is a little bit of good news also on the opening aspect of things. And as I mentioned, the UK is opening as of today. So there are some national airlines that are based in the UK, Virgin Atlantic and British Airways, that if they've decided for their mask mandate while you're on flights, that if you are going to a location that does not require a mask, has no mask mandate, you do not have to wear a mask on the flight. It's not compulsory. You're welcome to wear one if it makes you feel more comfortable, but it's not compulsory. However, if you are going to a destination that does have a mask mandate, then they will require you to wear that. Now, if you're coming from America, right now we do have mask mandates for our transportation, our national transportation, until it has been extended until April 18th. So if you're flying between now and April 18th, you will likely need to wear a mask on those flights. After that, we don't know. Maybe it'll be lifted, maybe not. But British Airways and Virgin Atlantic opening that up a little bit might also then bleed into other airlines as well, being a little looser on their mask restrictions. Now, this is either good news or bad news based on you, because everybody feels differently about the mask mandates. But if you're one of those people that have been waiting for those to be dropped, then this is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, especially if you're heading to the UK this year. All right. Those are the top articles that we found from this week. Again, please let me know below if you are interested in this type of a format. I could work on bringing this to you and just bring you kind of the most relevant articles from around the world every week. But if you don't like the video, this format, and you want me to go back to the old, I am doing this in newsletter form. So if you're interested, I'll put the link below where I highlight those articles and just simply send it to you in your inbox. It's just a quick blurb. Here's the highlights, information, and a link to the article if you want to read more. Very simple, easy peasy. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and click that link. I'd love to have you join us and receive that every Sunday. And other than that, thank you so much for stopping by. I wish you a very safe and happy travels this year, and take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.